Welcome back, wonderful humans. I'm Danielle and I currently live alone. I'm trying to shift towards healthy meals whilst remaining on a budget. This week isn't particularly budget friendly as it did include quite a lot of things for Christmas. I went into Lidl twice this week. One time I walked down and all I needed to get was some butter and some pears, but as you can see, it's not all I ended up getting, which when it came to me walking all the way back up the hill with it, I had a bit of regret. But I did get that butter. I just made sure to get some unsalted butter. Was using it to make some braised red cabbage, and then I needed some pears for it as well. So I just grabbed a couple of those. I'm not actually a big fan of pears otherwise, so there was no point in me getting more than what I did need for the recipe. But then I ended up spotting all of the different cheese sections that they had. And I love cheese. And all of these have a pretty long date on. You can see as I'm checking all of the dates on them. So I just got some of that Castello extra creamy brie before getting some more Castello creamy blue cheese. And again, this obviously has a pretty decent date on it as well. All of them take me through until after Christmas, so there's no need to rush to actually have them. Then I grabbed some smoky cheddar, one of the little truckles, and then Wensleydale with cranberries as well. Obviously, where I do live by myself, I won't be going through a lot of this cheese at once. I'll probably put some of it into cooking. And I got some double Gloucester with onion and chives, as well as some cheddar with caramelized red onion. But at the minute, I don't have any crackers. I'll get those a bit nearer to Christmas. I also got some spicy cheddar as well. But again, like I said, I'll probably end up using it to cook with some of them. And I love Marmite, so I got some Marmite cheddar cheese. So a little bit on the pricey side again as well. But it isn't like you go through a lot of it at once. And like I said, until I open them, they'll last a fair while. Then I grabbed some of that apple wood as well, which will definitely work well in sort of a few cooked dishes. Keep an eye out for some mac and cheese or something coming. And then I was feeling a little bit sorry for myself, so I did grab some of these mixed snack onion rings, a whole bag of them. And also, I got some Milky Bar buttons, and I might end up doing these so that they get incorporated either into some baking or just having them here and there as a bit of a sweet treat as well. But then I got some fruit pastels, and I'll tell you now, I am pretty excited looking at this packet because I could spot so many of the sort of blacky, sort of dark coloured ones. And of course, they are normally blackcurrant in the UK, which is by far my favourite type of fruit pastel. I grabbed a bottle of diet lemonade, which this is the section where you'll start to see why I might have potentially regretted purchasing so much as I did have to walk all the way up the hill with it all. But then I also grabbed some black spiced rum that's 40%. And, I like rum every now and then, but I decided to get that. And I have put it into the Christmas collection as well. And then I got some of this caramel biscuit country cream, which kind of, from what I understand, is supposed to be a little bit like Bailey's, but obviously a bit of flavour going on with it. In the same style, I then got another one that was in the toffee yum yum flavour. And again, that's also got both of those have also gone into the Christmas sort of collection. They will, of course, last beyond Christmas and New Year. But then moving on to my regular little shop, which was at least a little bit more in the sensible price sort of range and included things I actually definitely needed. So I got some kiwis. It's a pack of four of them. Just figured they'd be nice to have somewhere along the lines, either as snacks or a part of some of my breakfasts. Then I got another bunch of bananas. Again, where I went for some of the greener ones, these will last quite a while, seeing as my kitchen is so cold this winter. And then I got a couple of these loose baking potatoes. I have a couple of recipes in mind for them. To be honest, I'll probably only need one. And then the other one I'll just have as a jacket potato for a lunch or something one day of the week as well. And then a couple of the recipes I plan to do recommend some bacon medallions. So I grabbed a pack of the unsmoked ones. I could have got the smoked ones, but I'm pretty sure I'm adding paprika and things into one of the recipes anyway. So I wanted to stick to unsmoked to make sure that it wasn't too overpowering. Then I topped up my 0% fat natural Greek yogurt as well, which again, I'll be having for some breakfast and everything along the lines, and sometimes putting it into a little bit of cooking as well. I grabbed some sweet and crunchy salad. There's definitely a recipe I have that involves a bit of salad, but I'll probably just use the rest of it for lunches somewhere along the lines as well. And I grabbed some bean sprouts last week. I didn't get around to doing the meal that I planned to do in terms of the spring roll in a bowl. So I grabbed some bean sprouts to sort of pop into there to give it a little bit more taste and texture and differences. And I grabbed a bunch of celery. It should just be having a snack, so I think there's a recipe that I need it for as well. And I will be popping all of the meals that I plan on having this week on the screen later as well to hopefully give you a bit of inspiration. And I needed some onions, and instead of getting red and white ones, I just decided to go straight down the middle and grab some pink ones. Before then getting a broccoli, there are some dishes that I realised don't necessarily have vegetables with them. So I figured getting some broccoli would be a good idea. And then I grabbed a bag of red chilies because of the fact that, again, a single recipe needed them and they didn't have any loose ones. So I just grabbed a small bag of them. And then I treated myself to some chocolate milk. But then there were a few more items sort of out of all of the fresher things. So I did just go ahead and grab one of these toothbrushes. I could have got a pack of three for the same price, but this is an advanced white one. And I tend to replace my toothbrush 3 to 4 times a year, as you're supposed to. And I basically ran out of toothpaste again. So I picked up this twin pack of Oral-B Pro Expert toothpaste as well. And then I went ahead and picked up some more of those dark chocolate rice cakes, just in case I do find myself wanting something that has got a bit of a crunch at some point, or perhaps being able to then put something like some of that banana onto one of them as well. And a recipe has the need for garden peas. I'm not the biggest fan of peas by themselves, but I did just pick up a bag of them, and I know that I'll be able to incorporate them into other things at some point as well. And then I decided to pick up some more knitted dishcloths as well as some 4 large soft brown baps. There's a recipe I want to do that's sort of a chicken burger, chicken sandwich. So I picked those up and I'll probably put the rest into the freezer. I did also get 2 of these tins of tuna chunks in brine, but then I also got 3 tins of tuna in spring water as well. And I grabbed for just a single tin of chopped tomatoes. I still have a sort of a tub of passata, but in case I need chopped tomatoes or anything, I wanted to have some on backup. And I grabbed some sunflower oil spray as well, just to help control the amount of oil that I am using a little bit. And some natural breadcrumbs. I was hoping that they'd have panko breadcrumbs, but I looked high and low and little, and I couldn't find any. And then I got some dried basil. I did have a free herb or seasoning sort of thing with Lidl Plus, but I needed the basil anyway for a recipe. And then I grabbed some hoisin sauce again for something that I have planned. And then I had to get some oyster sauce. I was looking for fish sauce, but I couldn't see any. And I did a quick search around, and everybody said that oyster sauce would be okay to use as an alternative. And then I'm starting to run a little low on like soy sauce and dark soy sauce. So I just made sure to pick both of them up at the same time because they can obviously sit in the cupboard until it's time for me to open them and pop them into the fridge. And then it was time to get some more bleach as one of the essential household items. Was starting to run low on it. And for me, there'd be nothing worse than completely running out when I went to go do some cleaning. And then I got a speculoos donut, which is kind of like a Biscoff Lotus equivalent that they do in Lidl. Then there are a few more items, and this is where it gets a little bit messy because I'm a little bit off track in terms of the order that I show it to you in. But I did pick up some gum whilst I was in Lidl as well. I know it sounds ridiculous, but sometimes, especially when I'm working, if I'm having quite a stressful day, it's quite a nice thing to just distract me a little bit by chomping on it. And I grabbed 6 medium free range eggs. Lidl was running pretty low on eggs, unfortunately. I'm not sure whether everyone's gone into baking mode or whether they just were running low in terms of their delivery. Mum grabbed me some dried dill. They don't tend to have any in Lidl, so she just got me some from Sainsbury's. And yeah, I did pay for it one way or another. It's just I just didn't ask exactly how much it was. And then I got a set of 5 measuring spoons in ProCook as well. Find it to be a lot of a better measurement. I'm not sure if all of my spoons are proper teaspoons and tablespoons, and it's obviously easier to then have quarter and half measurements of things as well. And I grabbed a rolling pin. If you watch some of my shorts, you'll realise that I'm always saying about how I was having to battle to do things because I don't have a rolling pin. So I just decided to pick one up instead to avoid that happening in the future. And I made bread recently and I had to improvise. So I decided to make sure I picked up a £2 loaf tin as well. But then back in Lidl, I spotted that they had a bamboo sort of lazy Susan, which obviously you put stuff on it and spin it around. So instead, I'll probably actually use this as for when I am doing my shorts and figuring out my videos and taking photos of my food, and use the one that I currently use instead as another spice rack sort of storage. But that is everything that I got this week, and I will pop the meals that I intend to eat this week up on the screen for you as well, as I mentioned earlier. But as always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I hope you can forgive me for the terrible amount of money that I spent this month. And if you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you again soon.